What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, it's a lot of stuff going on, guys. We got stuff, inappropriate objects being flown around a WNBA court. We have Sparky, who fell out yesterday. And we have the GOAT, Candace Parker, with a lot of controversy surrounding her. Guys, Quita in the Morning starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, guys. Let's talk about this show. Let's talk about this episode because it's a lot of stuff going on. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. And I'm just like, what in the world? Because yesterday was just a whole thing. It was a whole thing, and we're going to get into all the stuff that it was in just a sec. But first, I do want to start us off by just giving a quick update of what happened yesterday. All right. Yesterday we saw 3 games happen, and I'm gonna like quickly talk about them. I'm not gonna go into like super detail, but like yeah. Anyway, first up we had the game that was looking like it was going to be a blowout, but then got close and then was a real good game. And that was the Golden State Valkyries versus the Atlanta Dream. Guys, in this game, we saw it be roughly neck and neck in the first half. And then we saw the Golden State Valkyries just explode in the third quarter. And they kind of forgot how to play a little bit in the fourth quarter, including a severe distraction, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And ultimately, the Valkyries were able to get the job done in Atlanta. The final score, guys, was 77 Atlanta Dream, 77 Valkyries, 75 Atlanta Dream. Now, guys, in this game, I've told y'all before that I have been very impressed with the way Golden State has played this year. And I was very worried once Kayla Thornton went down, what the future of this Golden State Valkyries team would be, right? I was really worried because Kayla Thornton is really the heart and soul of this team. And when she went down, it was like, okay, well, who else is going to step up? Who else is going to make sure this team gets dubs? And yesterday, it was absolutely a thing where everybody else just kind of stepped up, right? We saw really good play off the bench from Carla Late, right? We saw really good play overall from Tiffany Hayes and Veronica Burton, right? Janelle Salon and others. Like this was one of those games where everybody had to step up, right? And can't forget the main person who stepped up big time and had a performance that I hadn't seen from her in a while, and that is Cecilia Zandalicini. Guys, I've been a fan of Zandalicini since she was with the Minnesota Lynx. This is someone who can, in spurts, go off and make some noise, and one of the big assets that Zandalicini has is her ability to knock down the three. Yesterday, she knocked down 3 threes. Ultimately, she finished the game with 18 points, was a huge catalyst to why the Golden State Valkyries ultimately ended up winning the game. Now, you also can talk about the fact that, yes, as always, bad calls by the refs, especially late in the game, right? Bad calls, some missed calls, all that stuff. It always happens, but at the same time, regardless of what the refs do, you have to figure out a way to win the game. And overall, just good for the Golden State Valkyries. They had a big run in the third quarter and kind of lost it in the fourth. But ultimately, they were not able to lose it so much that they lost the game. But again, shout out to Cecilia Zandalicini for the fantastic game that she played yesterday. It was really good to see players just sort of step up in Kayla Thornton's absence and light a fire in their team, Now, for the Atlanta Dream, it was all about Jordan Canada. She's one of those players that can be a huge spark for this team in different ways. Like sometimes Jordan Canada is just passing the basketball, right? She's a point guard primarily, so you typically see her passing the basketball. But yesterday, she was in her scoring bag for sure. 21 points for Jordan Canada. She was still passing the basketball as well. 8 assists for her, which was good to see. And the metric that I always love to talk about, always love it. Just 1 turnover for the PG Jordan Canada. That was very, very good to see. Overall, Atlanta should have won, but they didn't play like they really wanted it until towards the end of the game. We saw really good play from Naz Hillman. She continues to be a great asset for this team coming off the bench. We saw overall not so great play by the post players for the Atlanta Dream, right? It's one of those things where you need more than just Bree Jones and Brittany Griner giving you 8 points and 9 points. Like, you just, come on now. Like, you all can play better than that. I know how good y'all are, and y'all have to play better than that. Okay? Okay. All right, let's continue on with the thing that is the most, okay, yesterday, during play, there was stuff that happened during the fourth quarter. So alongside the not so great calls or non-calls by the refs, there was a situation that happened with about a minute left to go. And the situation was awkward. And basically, here's the thing. With about a minute left to go, we saw, game is being played, not a big deal. Right? Everyone's playing. And then all of a sudden, on the camera, you just see something just was thrown. And you see it just sort of skid past. The ref sort of points at it or something. They continue on with the play until the ball goes out of bounds. And then it's wait, what was that? And then they were trying to figure out who threw it, and the whole thing was just a mess. It was a mess. What in the world are people doing at the game for throwing what they threw? And Jordan Canada didn't really know what was going on. And it seemed like somebody told her, and she was like, oh. Like, here's the thing. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? What are we doing? I ain't gonna say what it is, because that's just too embarrassing. Come on now. Come on. What are we doing, guys? At a basketball game. In Atlanta, of all places. So hopefully that person who threw that, hopefully they never go to a WNBA game again. Kicked out, never allowed into a game again. Ever. Because what are we doing? That's extremely inappropriate. There were kids at the game. Not only that, you could have hit a player in the face. Right? It's just, you know. Rhonda says, shows people think the W is a joke. Yeah, because that was a joke move. Like, what in the world? It's embarrassing. It's disgusting. And it has no belonging in the game of women's basketball. Like, what are we doing? Or any form of, like, literally, the game is being played. I think it was like Veronica Burton or somebody who had the basketball. Like, Golden State had it, and then you just see something thrown in bright colors. And so, yeah, anyway, that's just, people are nasty, and it's terrible. It's, guys, like, literally, it made me so mad. I was like, what the heck? What are we doing, guys? This is professional basketball. This is not a joke. This is not some random club. This is not, no. I know Atlanta is like a party. It's like a party atmosphere in terms of the way that they like hype up the crowd and whatnot, and it seems like a fun environment. But come on now, people. It's ridiculous. J Mar says, we see that in every sport. Why single out the W? Well, one, I don't know if I've ever heard of someone throwing that at a NBA game or at a hockey game, or I don't know. People throw stuff on the court. Like, that's not new to the WNBA. But like the particular thing that was thrown, I'm not aware of it being thrown anywhere else. And two, here's the deal, guys. This is a WNBA specific channel, right? This is a WNBA specific show. We cover women's basketball here. I don't cover the NBA. I don't cover hockey. I don't cover, so I am singling out the WNBA because I watch the WNBA. This is a show talking about the WNBA, so therefore I will talk about the WNBA and what happens during a WNBA game. That's why I'm singling out the WNBA, because that's what I watch, right? So yeah, and also it literally just happened. So that's why I am singling out the WNBA. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to the next game. Let's move on. And the next game involved the Chicago Sky versus the Washington Mystics. This game happened in Washington, where it actually was competitive early on in the game, right? It was actually a competitive game where it was pretty close, right? Throughout her first half, even in the third quarter and whatnot. The problem with the Chicago Sky is they were never able to like really come back. And the lead just kind of stretched. And then ultimately, Washington Mystics ended up winning 103-86. Now, in this game, this was not a issue, in my opinion, of the Chicago Sky failing to score. Chicago Sky scored 86 points. Like, that's pretty good for the Chicago Sky. And that could be a winning number. However, the Chicago Sky did not play defense in this game. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because defense is important, guys. You cannot allow the Washington Mystics to score 103 points against you. And the reason why the Washington Mystics were this good is it was all about Sonia Citron. Literally, Sonia could not miss at times. She went 5 of 6 from the 3. She was fan-freaking-tastic in this game. Fantastic. And I loved to see it. I love to see it. But clearly nobody on the Chicago Sky could stop Sonia Citron. Nobody. Because she didn't play like a rookie. She played like a straight-up vet. 28 points for Sonia. It was insane. And it wasn't just her, guys. The other rookie was cooking. Kiki Ira-Afen, 22 points. Double-double. 10 rebounds. Like, she was doing her thing. Right? Absolutely doing her thing. And then you had the other rookie who came off the bench and had 2 threes in Lucy Olsen, right? This was the game for the rookies. That's what this was. This was the game for the rookies, right? And then, of course, Brittany Sykes, she's back in her scoring bag, right? Remember that game where she scored 0 points? That's not going to happen often. Like, that is a rare occurrence. 18 points for Brittany Sykes, 6 assists for her. She did her thing in this game. And literally, it was just Washington running up the score. They were running up the score. And there was nothing that Chicago could do about it. Now, once again, Chicago still has a boatload of injuries, right? Still have that. We saw 4 players out for the Chicago Sky. Of course, Courtney Vandersloot's out for the rest of the year. But Ariel Atkins is still out with a leg injury. Haley Van Lith did not suit up. She still has an ankle injury. And Sevgi Uzun, who just joined the team, she was not with the team yesterday. She probably will be with the team on Friday. But she's getting acclimated to the squad, and so she is not with the team just yet. Remember, guys, they just signed Sevgi on Monday, and so yeah, made sense that she was not available on Tuesday. But here's to hoping she's available on Friday. So 4 players were out, really 3 for the Chicago Sky, and we did see a lot of good play from what I'm going to consider the big 3, at least here yesterday for the Chicago Sky. Rachel Banham continues to be a very effective scorer for the Chicago Sky. She had 19 points. And then the Skyscrapers, them two, they were doing their thing. Both with double-doubles. Both for the Skyscrapers. We had Angel Reese returning from her back injury. She missed 2 games straight due to a back injury. Now she is back, and she was scoring. She was in her bag, right? 22 points for her. She got to the free throw line quite a bit as well. 22 points, 13 rebounds for Angel, and then Camilla was doing her thing as well. 21 points, 10 rebounds. That was good to see. However, you still needed more from other players, right? This is one of those things where you needed Kia Nurse to give you around 12, 15 points. You needed Beck Allen to do more than just the 10. You needed more from everybody, right? Also, guys, the thing to note, Michaela Onyenwere was back yesterday as well. She did miss a couple of games. Also, you needed everybody else to step up. Like Rachel, Angel, Camilla, they all showed up and they did the best they could offensively. Now, of course, field goal percentage is still an issue. But overall, the Chicago Sky actually shoot well in this game. 45% from the field, which is pretty good. All right. Carmela says, I want to be clear. Angel played great, but she needs rest. I don't like that the Sky doesn't seem to care about longevity. New York rested non-injured players last game for the sake of having them healthy. Yeah, unfortunately, Carmela, the Sky are just not, they don't have the players, the backup players, to allow other players to rest. Whereas even the bench players that don't get there very many minutes on New York are still really good players and would be assets on whatever team that they went to if they weren't on New York. And so I think that's the problem with the Chicago Sky. The roster was built in a way that it doesn't allow for them to really rest Angel or other players. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And that's unfortunate, but it sort of is what it is. It is what it is. And so, yeah, that's something to note. Also, guys, Angel did have 3 steals and 2 blocks in yesterday's game as well. All right. Okay. Now, let's continue on. Then we have the return of Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink made her return to the basketball court in more than a year. And she went on to face the LA Sparks, and unfortunately they spoiled her grand return to Crypto.com Arena, where the Las Vegas Aces came in and got the dub, 89-74. Guys, this was a kind of battle of a game of sorts, where the Aces came into this game cooking, right? And as the game progressed, it was a question mark of, okay, all right, LA about to make some noise. They about to storm back. They about to do some stuff. Ultimately, it just never fully transpired, and we saw the LA Sparks end up losing. Guys, the LA Sparks have been on a really nice run as of late, right? They won several games in a row. I think it was 4 games in a row coming into yesterday's game. 5 games in a row, I believe, coming into yesterday's game, but ultimately they were not able to hold off against the Las Vegas Aces. And when it comes to the Aces, as we saw yesterday, they are continuing their decision to have Jewel Lloyd come off the bench, which, again, I still think is a good decision. Yes, Kirsten Bell was missing shots left and right, but still, I say keep it. Yeah. Yes, Kirsten Bell had a bad game yesterday. Yes, Jewel Lloyd also didn't have that great of a game either. However, keep the lineup that you got. Keep the lineup that you got. I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Yesterday's game was about 3 players. It was about Cameron Brink because Cameron Brink made her return, and that was glorious to see. It was about A'ja Wilson because A'ja Wilson just... Another day, another 30-point game for A'ja Wilson. She had 34 points, 10 rebounds yesterday. So, of course, she's going to do her thing. But, it was about Jackie Young. Guys, something about triple doubles. They seem to come in bunches. We had Skylar Diggins, who just had a triple double, and now Jackie Young is like, you know what? I want to join a club. I want to join a triple double club. Jackie Young with the triple double, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. That was fan-freaking-tastic to see. Shout out to Jackie Young. J.O. was doing her thing yesterday, and I love to see it. Okay. Now, for the Aces, I mean, when you got all that offense, right, doing a thing, I mean, hey, Tulip, a triple-double is a triple-double. Yes, A'ja Wilson did win the game, but again, at this point, we're used to A'ja Wilson scoring 30-plus points and making it happen for her team, right? Still, we're used to that. But J.O. with the triple-double, I thought that was really cool. Now, yeah, sure. Was all of it done during when it was still very competitive in the game? No, but shout out to J.O. Here's the thing. For me, it doesn't actually matter. Well, I think it's worth celebrating everybody who gets a triple-double because triple-doubles are still very rare in the WNBA. They don't happen that often, right? They don't happen that often. And so, yes, absolutely. A'ja is A'ja, okay? But I loved watching Jackie Young get that triple-double. I thought it was very cool. And I think it should be celebrated. I really do think it should be celebrated. And on this channel, I'm gonna say, hey, everybody who get a triple-double, we're gonna take a second to notice that and talk about it because I think it's awesome. Okay? All right. Art says Asia's going to score no matter what. Yeah, no matter what. No matter what. It's a foregone conclusion, right? It's a foregone conclusion. Asia Wilson is just that type of girl. Like, she's too good. She's too good and you can't stop her. Who you putting on her? Whoever you put on her. She gonna do her thing, right? And when she do have off games, those tend to be games where she just is off. Not necessarily what the defense is doing. It's just sometimes she's just off herself. But when Asia Wilson's on, you can't stop her. You can't stop her. All right. For the LA Sparks, we saw Kelsey Plum do her thing, 22 points, 8 assists for her. Dearica Hamby had 15 points, 6 rebounds. It was kind of fun to see the two top scorers for the Sparks were both former Vegas players, and so that was kind of fun to see. Cameron Brink did return to the game. She did notch in 5 points. Huge ovation from the crowd. Everyone was just so happy to see Cameron Brink return and do her thing. I thought it was cool. I thought it was very, very, very cool. I know I do that sometimes, but I did go through the other topic I wanted to talk about with the throwing of the objects and stuff. But another thing that happened during this game that I thought was hilarious was Sparky is the mascot. Sparky is the mascot for the LA Sparks, and because the game was in LA, Sparky was there. And Sparky was was like engaging the crowd and whatnot. And all of a sudden, Sparky gets knocked in the head, falls down. Guys, I kind of thought it was funny. I was like, man, what a game. We got Sparky getting hit in the head and falling down. We got things being thrown on the court. Here, I think I have a screen share of it. I want to show you because I just thought it was funny. But I hope the person in the Sparky costume was actually okay. It didn't like it was that bad of a thing, but sometimes when you are not expecting something and then you get hit and you're like, oh my goodness. All right, here we go. So the backflip guy, he was doing his backflips, and Sparky gets laid out. And y'all see the way Sparky just laid? He gets laid out. I was like, man, that was wild. Like, honestly. Your field of vision is very limited in one of those costumes. And then you get knocked down like that. And it's like, dang, man. At that point, if I was in that costume, at that point, I'd be like, let me take off this fake mask. I gotta get some air. I gotta breathe. Cause what in the world? Okay. Carry Sparky off on a stretcher. Why don't you? I'm just saying. Anyway, I just thought that was wild. I was like, dang, that sucks. W. Brazil says Sparky is in concussion protocol. Yeah, I'm hoping that the costume padding did help. I'm hoping. And here's the thing. I'm like being lighthearted about this because I assume that Sparky is okay. But seriously, that's like actually horrible. Like, really is. Like, protect your mascots at all times. Because again, their field of vision is limited. And usually the mascots have some sort of like handler with them. So like a person that can actually talk, because the mascots are not supposed to talk. And so like somebody who's supposed to be like, oh, you move over here. Like, let's go, Sparky. Let's, that type of thing. Like usually there's someone who follows around the mascot. And like, why didn't somebody be like, pull up. Don't do that extra backflip. Or, telling Parker, get out the way or something. I don't know. Anyway. Let's move on to the other situation that's happening in the WNBA. So again, things happen in threes sometimes, right? We have the flying object. We have Sparky getting knocked out. And we have Candace Parker and Angel Reese. And guys, as you all know, I tend to avoid random drama and gossip unless I feel like it actually leads to a bigger point. And I think this actually leads to a bigger point. So I'm gonna talk about it. So there has been a lot of stuff going on when it comes to Candace Parker. Number one, Candace Parker, the GOAT. She had a legendary WNBA career with both the LA Sparks, with Chicago Sky, and the brief time that she was healthy with the Las Vegas Aces. She has won 3 WNBA championships. This is someone who, when you look at stats in the WNBA, usually Candace Parker is on that list. When you see players, you see them say, oh, this XYZ player has reached number 3 on whatever list, usually on that list in the top 5 is Candace Parker. Candace Parker is everywhere because she was fantastic, right? She was a post player who could do a little bit of everything, and it was fantastic to see. She's great. Candace Parker, legend, GOAT. Everybody loves Candace Parker. And sometimes when you are at the top, right? Sometimes when everyone seems to love you, you stay around long enough for people to be mad at you, right? There's a phrase, I can't remember exactly what it is, but like, it's something like you live long enough to become a villain, right? And to some people, that is what Candace Parker is turning out to. But I have some commentary about this and like an interesting take, I think, that I want to talk about. So, Candace Parker, what in the world is going on with Candace Parker? Well, if you all do not know, this drama actually started a little bit ago. I would say a couple of weeks ago, I want to say. So Candace Parker, about a month ago, she was on a couple of podcasts, right? And she talked about her list of WNBA players, right? And she talks about how there's certain tiers for WNBA players, right? She talks about tiers of WNBA players, which, of course, everybody has a tier, right? So we see Candace, who puts certain players in different tiers. So she's like, there's an S tier, there's a A tier, right? There's a B tier, there's a C tier, there's a D tier, right? You get it, right? So like S tier, you got Nafisa Collier, you got Breanna Stewart, right? You got Asia Wilson, right? In the S tier. These are the elite of the elites, right? Then you got the A tier, that is Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum, right? You got Paige Beckers and Arike Gumawale as a duo getting placed in that B tier. You have in the C tier, you got Angel Reese, you got Cameron Brink. And when she said that, people went crazy, right? There was a blast of people saying that Candace was throwing shade on Angel, that she hates Angel, that all this other stuff around her dissing Angel Reese by putting her in a C tier. Now, you may disagree. You may disagree, but what's the purpose of ranking anything? For people to talk, right? The reason why you say, here's my tiers, is because you want people to know your specific perspective and you want people to talk about it, right? It's just a thing. It's just a thing. And people talk. People went crazy and like went wild in some of the stuff that they said about Candace, and like specifically some people who were just doing ad hominem attacks for disagreeing with Candace, right? And then Candace appears on Good Follow, which is a really good podcast, and she talks about it. She talks about the backlash that she got with the commentary that she had to say about Angel, and I want to share part of that video. I want to share part of that video, and I want to share what happened yesterday that like brought this back up, and then we will talk through my take on this and what I think is the issue with WNBA related media. Okay. But first, let's actually go to the conversation that Candace Parker had with Ros Gold on Wude. Okay. All right. Let me change this up. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna move my mic around so I can capture this audio.
So outlandish. I saw her at my jersey retirement versus people attack you into the argument, bring something up. It's just commenting on the. It's so crazy because I didn't even know this, and then I am on my Instagram and I see comments underneath. I think, and I know you're getting to this question.
No. I was gonna say people were saying, "Oh, you're an Angel Reese hater," and I'm like, first of all, I'll just let you answer. What's your response to that?
No, I think my response is in no intention. I'm not a hater. I think it's just commenting on the player. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is they ask me my opinion on player tiers, and my thing is then if you bring something to the argument, bring something else. Can she get to player A or player S or whatever? Yes, she can. Yes. Right now, I don't know if she's alongside those players and B's, and you're measuring her against players that have been in the league for years.
Right.
And so I think that, I've faced it on the men's side when people attack you for what you look like or who you are, that's usually not coming with a solid argument. And so I'm willing to debate. I love it. Tell me I'm wrong, but bring facts to the table. And so that's the biggest thing. There's no hate on Angel Reese. I love her. She plays for the Chicago Sky. I saw her at my jersey retirement versus LA. So it's nothing like that. But I think it's so interesting in this female space, the need to have to explain some of these things like that you don't see where, we worked with the guys at Turner where they come on and they say stuff that.
All right. So it continues from there, and you watch the actual podcast. I think it's a really good listen. Again, Good Follow is another really good podcast out there that's getting awesome interviews with players. That's just overall really good commentary. And here's the thing: there's so much in the world of women's basketball, and when you can hear directly from players, it's always really, really cool. And Good Follow, they're able to get these awesome interviews that one day I hope to get as well. But absolutely listen to Good Follow. All right, and also listen to the full episode of that podcast. And she just continues on from there. Basically, the argument is it's a basketball take. I don't hate anybody. I'm just saying my basketball opinion, and you all may disagree. You all may have other reasons to disagree, and that's totally fine. But that's my take, right? So that, outrage was a thing for that. And eventually it kind of faded away. And then it came back yesterday. It came back yesterday when promoting the new show, Post Moves. Post Moves is a new podcast hosted by both Aaliyah Boston of the Indiana Fever and Candace Parker. So Post Moves, they're two post players, so makes sense for the name of the show. And here's the thing that you all have to consider. All right? When you are launching a show, when you're launching a new show, especially a podcast, you have to make a splash in the market, right? You don't have to. Well, this is what people usually do. People usually have to figure out a way to make a splash. You have to get some sort of gimmick to get people to watch. Some sort of thing that's culturally relevant in the moment that's going to make people be like, you know what? I wasn't planning on watching this, but I need to watch it, right? Because you need to get people hooked because it's a new show. New show, you have to sort of build that appetite from people fast, okay? Post Moves is a new show. They announced it during around All-Star, WNBA All-Star, and it's a new thing. So episode 1 is coming out today. And so, as a new show does, especially if you have famous people on your show, you put out a series of videos to get people excited. And you put out what's known by some as a sizzle reel, kind of, to get people to be like, oh, that seems awesome. Let me check it out. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw yesterday from Post Moves, right? And I want to specifically talk about what was posted on their social yesterday, and then talk through the whole details of it. Okay, so this is what was posted yesterday on Post Moves. As you can see, the thing that they put is as the caption is, "Oh, we getting spicy. New episode tomorrow morning." Because again, you're trying to draw that reaction. You're trying to draw a reaction from people to get people to actually watch the full show, right? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get up the excitement overall. All right? And so here is what was said.
I in no way, shape, or form am a hater. What player are you taking Angel Reese over of those that I just listed?
Guess we'll wait for their response.
I won't say All-Star games because the game, I'm going to be honest with you, Leah, it was awful. But
What do you mean?
The actual game, are you kidding me? What made you take Caitlin Clark's drink?
You just never, that's just who I am. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're going to be on camera. Let me just slide this out the view so we don't have to worry about it. No one has to see it.
So yeah, that was posted yesterday. Which again, if you all follow how people launch stuff, podcasts, new shows, that's what they do. What you want to do is you want to capture some of the biggest moments in the culture of whatever you're talking about to get people to watch. Now, what did they capture in these the 3 different clips they use for this show? What did they capture? They captured talking about Angel Reese because Candace was all on social getting flamed for the commentary she said about Angel Reese and saying who would you take over, right? Who would you replace her with and whatnot, like that, and then the focusing on Aaliyah Boston and her touching her glasses, that is kind of like marketing 101. It just is marketing 101, right? You are you are trying to again get people in their emotions and get people riled up on either side, on whatever opinion, to actually watch, right? So you talk about Angel Reese because Angel Reese is a big name when it comes to women's basketball. You like when you talk about Angel Reese, you get clicks. So talk about Angel Reese and talk about specifically what Candace said about Angel Reese. So that's going to get a lot of attention. Boom, got that checked off. Then talk about All-Star because that's a relevant thing that just happened and people talked about how bad it was, and so boom, you got that again. So that's a lesser extent of a exciting thing, but you got that. And then number 3, Caitlyn. Of course, you got to talk about Caitlyn. You cannot have the podcast, the teaser for the podcast end without talking about Caitlyn. And again, a huge benefit to having a player like Aaliyah Boston on there is you get the attention that the Indiana Fever has. You get the additional attention that Aaliyah Boston has had due to being a teammate of Caitlyn, right? And so, of course, you're going to ask about Caitlyn and, give Aaliyah Boston an opportunity to talk something about Caitlyn adjacent. So, like, it makes sense why they did what they did. Like, from a marketing perspective, I watched this video and I was like, oh, yeah, it makes sense to me. Now, they are again, I do marketing. So like I get why they did what they did. Are they using Angel's name for additional attention? Absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. And if you are launching a new show, again, you have to do that in a way. So that's why that happened. We are probably going to see, we're going to see the episode later today, right? We're going to see it and who knows? Maybe they talk about this Angel Reese thing for 1 minute and they grab the clip from that 1 minute, right? And that's what it is. I get why it happened. And I gotta say, that's the way promotion goes in a lot of ways. That's the way launches goes in a lot of ways. Even when Angel launched her podcast, right? In the first episode, she talked about Caitlyn a little bit. Because again, that's what's relevant in the culture, right? You may not like that fact. It is what it is. Right? And you all may have an opinion about it, and that's fair. Rosalinda says, do you think they can go too far? Absolutely. 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 Yes. But yeah, I'm going to listen to the full episode today whenever it drops. And then I'll come up to my conclusion of like what I really think about it. But yeah, they can go too far with that. They can go far. They can go far with that. And so it's one of those things where, you kind of have to say certain things and whatnot. And truly, is it annoying? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I would think it'd be better if we heard if the clips were like more like focus on what the Indiana Fever are doing and how in the world are they going to figure out a way to still get to the finals with the roster that they have, with the changes that they have, like that to me, like that would have been a really awesome teaser to hear about, hear Aaliyah Boston specifically talking about that. But would that get a lot of views and whatnot? I don't think it would. This, talking about Angel, does get the views, right? That's why they led with that to start the promo. Is it annoying? Yes, but it is what it is. That's how the media business works. It's how it works, right? So I have no idea if they went into a room and was like, okay, what are the biggest things that we could talk about for our first episode? Okay, Angel. Candace, you were talking about Angel before. You were in the news and blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about that again, right? Aaliyah, we got to say something about Caitlyn, right? And then we got to check all these other boxes, right? Do I think Candace Parker hates Angel? No, I don't. I really do think that Candace Parker originally had a take that people just disagreed with, right? Some people disagreed with, right? And I think in general, we should normalize it being okay for a commentator to have an opinion that you don't like. Not ad hominem attacks. Not I don't like the way she looks, or XYZ, or, not ad hominem. But I am saying that it is okay for someone to say that they rate another player over your favorite player. That's actually okay. Like I think that as we've kind of like continued on with WNBA fandom, it gets to a point where if you don't think my favorite player is the best thing since sliced bread, you hate them. You don't like them. You are terrible, and blah, 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 blah. Right? That's what you get. And I don't get it, right? Like I think it's kind of weird. I think it's kind of weird. That's to say that is the talk about Angel in this podcast specifically to drive clicks and views? Absolutely. Yes. So is this topic about Angel getting dragged for viewership and for listens? Absolutely. It is what it is. It is what it is. So you may not like it, but that's just, it is what it is. But originally I do just think it was just a take that people disagreed with, and that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Slice says, Quita, this generation is so soft. Candace Parker didn't say anything wrong. Golly. I mean, yeah, again, they're specifically using this for marketing, which, again, I understand. And two, yeah, she put Angel in the C tier. Now, do I think that Angel Reese is one of the like a top player in the WNBA right now? Absolutely. Do I think that she's going to wind up being probably on a second team all WNBA? I could totally see that happening for this season, right? Do I think that she outplays vets who've been in the league for years and years and years and years? Yes. Do I think that anybody in the WNBA has figured out a way to out-rebound Angel? No, they haven't. Angel Reese is an elite player. Right? Now, you may disagree, and you may think that she's higher than C, but that was the C level, and that's what Candace Parker gave her. I don't think Candace was hating on her, but I do think they are dragging the situation to get views and attention, which, again, makes sense from a marketing perspective. It makes sense. It makes sense. Again, you're trying to build a new show that has 0 followers to start, and you have to sort of build that attention. And so I get it. It makes sense. But yeah. Ms. Goody Two Shoes says, Candace has mentioned Angel in all of her recent interviews and podcasts. I've listened to several Candace podcast interviews. I don't think I've listened to them all. But yeah, sometimes Candace is specifically asked about Angel, and so of course, if you're asked about somebody, you gotta respond, and then sometimes you volunteer information, right? And so yeah. BMA says, how was Angel dragged? Some people think that she was dragged because she was listed in that C tier. Again, I don't. I don't think that's dragging someone. I think that's literally just giving a basketball opinion. And that's okay. And you all may disagree and say your argument. Not say your argument about why you hate Candace Parker, because supposedly Candace Parker hates Angel Reese. But say your argument about where you would place Angel or why specifically you disagree. Diaspora says it is what it is, doesn't mean it should be acceptable. Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's the reality of media. That's the reality of how things work, right? Why do you think the clips of the most salacious things said in podcasts gets those same podcasts a whole bunch of views and whatnot? Because like those little clips are done for a reason, to garner attention, to get people to stop and look and whatnot. Okay. So no, I don't think Candace Parker defamed Angel. No, I don't think that this is a grand conspiracy of like people banding up to go against Angel. What I do think, this is a person who said her opinion, her basketball opinion, that people disagreed with, and they're using that to foster attention for a new podcast. I think that's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is, in my opinion. Now, again, some of y'all may disagree with me. All right, some people may listen to me and say that, and some people may disagree with me and say that, I hate Angel because I'm not bearing down Candace's throat, right? Or that I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of people who have lots of thoughts, and that's understandable. It's totally understandable. Totally get it. Master Sergeant says that's clout chasing. I mean, it is, but it works. So that's why people do it. Right? Is it unfortunate? Yeah, absolutely. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it is what it is, you know? All right. Okay. Quinn says, no, Kiki is not better than Angel. No. No. No way. Nope. All right. There is a select few of post players that are better than Angel Reese in the WNBA. A select few. Okay? She's very good at what she does, and she's not just a rebounder, right? And it's just a thing, right? It's just a thing. Kiki is good. I didn't say Kiki wasn't. I'm saying that I think that I don't think that Kiki is better than Angel. I don't. Now, some people may say, "Oh, Quita's hating on Kiki because she doesn't think Kiki's better." No. I really just don't think she's better. Right? So, yeah. So we'll see what happens in the future, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay? All right. That's it. That's the stream. The Iwanzi family says Angel Reese is a generational talent that continues to improve every year. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. She is. Right? Not just and she's not just a rebounder either. Like people, people keep trying to put her in that mark of, she's just a rebounder. She's just a double-double and blah, blah, blah. No. Like, Angel Reese is a really good player. She's a really good defender. Right? She is someone who has a motor for days and just like doesn't give up. Right? She can see angles of where the ball is falling on the rim to get the rebound. And she's a facilitator. Dog, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So, like, you know, some people are wild, right? Some people are wild. Anyway, that's the stream. I ain't got nothing. Oh, we got some super chats. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you so much to Albert for the super chat. Says, why does New York face a rested Minnesota team while they are playing their fourth game in 6 days and traveling to 2 different cities on their only 2 days off? Well, that's the schedule. We have a record number of WNBA games this season. And if the WNBA does not either severely extend the season or lower the amount of games, this will continue. Every team has a stretch this year, or multiple, where they're playing a bunch of games in a small amount of time and they have to travel. Like back and forth. Like, that's the thing. Unfortunately, it happens. It unfortunately happens, especially this year is the worst year ever that we've seen that. The worst year ever. And the only way to fix that is for the WNBA to say we're either lowering the amount of games or we're extending the season, which is something that Kathy Engelbert did say they're thinking about. And so that's a huge possibility. But they're going to have to extend it quite a bit, which goes into NFL and whatnot. So like and also guys, think about the amount of new teams that are entering the WNBA. Like it's going to be hard, and we're going to see more non-rested teams. We're going to see more injuries because the season is just too condensed. It's too condensed right now. And it's not just affecting New York. It's affecting every team in the W, unfortunately. And the WNBA has to do something to stop that. D-Time, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, along with a rivalry, do y'all think that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese dating preference contributed to their popularity and animosity from players? No? I don't understand. Yeah, I don't get it. Between the two? I don't know. I don't think so. L Downs, thanks so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Salute to you. Thank you. Henry says, Quitty, can you imagine how crazy the schedule is going to be in the next Olympics year? Yeah. And like, I would like the schedule, because last year was an Olympic year. And last year actually wasn't that bad. It was not great, but it wasn't that bad. Like this year is actually worse than last year, which is weird considering the fact that last year was an Olympic year, this year is not, but also you did add a new team this year and last year did not have a new team. And so like that's something to note as well. All right. Anyway. Thank you so much for rocking with me. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a neighbor, tell a friend, and yeah, that's it. That's the stream, guys. That's the stream. All right. Yeah. My point exactly. Yeah. I read it. I didn't read it before I read it, and so like I was like, wait, what? No. I think we should, focus on basketball. All right. I think we should focus on basketball. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Yeah. Let me know your take on whatever I talked about in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.